Hello friends, this is Sumit Kumar. As per directions by our respected Vice Chancellor and our respected Principal Shri UC Mehta, we the teachers of PB have been directed to help our students by giving them online and video lectures on the respective topics related to their syllabus. As few classes have been undertaken by me on the topics of your syllabus. This particular video is concerned with uh, BBA 6th semester specialization marketing, and the name of the paper is international marketing. As in few classes we have gone through the basic concepts of international marketing, and we know that international marketing, when a company thinks about or when a company decides to sell and market their products outside the domestic company, it's known as they are involved in international marketing. It's an approach of company, and a domestic company expands in international market only when it's capable of handling the various kinds of strategies for international market. uh, the domestic company has to be very much prepared before they enter into the international market by a step process. There are two aspects of international marketing concept. The first one is a company can directly sell and market in international markets or countries their products directly. And the second approach is the company may be situated in domestic country and it must be influenced by the foreign companies influence, or they may be subsidiaries of foreign companies. In the next part we have discussed about the various kinds of challenges faced by companies operating in international market. The foremost challenge which they face is the cultural barrier in international market, because the culture may the culture may change from the domestic market or domestic country. Then the next challenge which they may face is in terms of languages may differ in domestic market as well as in international market. Next, depends upon the political relations of domestic company or the company operating in international market. In other words, we can say the relations between home country and where the company is intending to operate in the international market. So there are a number of challenges which are faced by companies which operate in international market. Nowadays, the problems which is commonly faced by the companies belonging to developing countries is that trade restrictions are imposed by developed countries. So they have to face challenges in terms of trade restrictions imposed by developed countries. Nowadays, distance between long distances between countries is also considered as one of the major challenge to be faced by companies which intend to operate in international market. In the next section we are going to deal with different concepts related to international marketing. First one is domestic market or domestic company. The company which are operating purely in their domestic home country are known as domestic company. They don't intend to operate beyond the national boundaries. The next concept is export marketing. The company which produces goods and services in their home country and uh, tries to sell tries to sell their products outside the country are said to be involved in export marketing. This is the first step for any company operating from home country to enter into the international market, and they are not involved in marketing of goods and services in international. The third concept is related to the third concept is international marketing. uh, it's a very easier approach to export the products in the national market, but sometimes company has to face problems in selling their products and services. This happens because they don't have any kind of control on marketing of goods in international market. Thus, in this stage, or in this according to this concept, they establish their marketing infrastructure in international market. They establish their subsidiaries in international market and have control from the domestic market. The next concept is multinational marketing. As we know, in international marketing, the marketing mix of domestic market is extended in international market. But in multinational concept or multinational marketing, uh, this thing doesn't work. Companies come to know that what whatever is successful or whatever was profitable in home country, it may not be profitable and successful in international market. Thus, companies have to develop uh, separate separate marketing mix for different international market and different foreign countries, to be successful and to be profitable. For this purpose, they establish their subsidiaries, and these subsidiaries are controlled from headquarters from the home nation. All of these subsidiaries operate as individual units. The next concept is global marketing approach. This is considered as the last approach for the firms which are operating in international market. Uh, this approach can be used by companies once they have gone through all the previous stages or steps of marketing in international countries or foreign countries. Uh, as we know, whole world is now considered as a global village, and uh, nowadays companies are trying to identify or develop the standardized products and standardized marketing strategies, considering whole world as a market. And this approach considers whole world as a single market and tries to identify segments for their products, which is a very complex and difficult task. And we can say this is the final stage or final approach which is used by the companies operating in international market. Now we are moving to the next section, where we are going to discuss the objectives of international marketing. Here we will try to understand why a company operating in domestic country moves towards international market. Now, the first objective here, we can see that when the production of domestic company is not absorbed in the domestic market, then the company decides about expanding their marketing activities in international market. The second objective is related to the seasonability of the product and services produced by the company. Sometimes the product can be of seasonal nature, which is demanded in one season, and not demanded in other seasons. In such a case, a company has to maintain balance between production and sales. For maintaining such balance between production and sales, company moves towards international market. In some of the developing nations, the purpose of international marketing is financing of imports, financing of their imports. It means that whatever bills they have to pay for import of goods and services, they try to cover up it by export of products or by other modes of entering into international market. The fourth objective is related to the companies which are socially responsible in their home countries, the countries which think beyond profit making, and which are very much concerned about the growth of home country. So, and for growth of any economy or growth of any country, there is very much importance of foreign exchange reserve, and thus the companies intend to operate in foreign market or uh, new foreign companies are having alliances with new foreign companies just because to increase the foreign reserve of home country, because transactions taking place between the home country companies and the foreign country can result in increase in foreign exchange reserve of domestic nations. Now, one of the another objective of moving towards international market is related to the cheaper factor cost, or we can say in other words low factor cost in some of the foreign countries. So uh, the the companies which are very much interested in operating international market, they try to identify such markets where it will be very profitable and beneficial for them to establish their manufacturing units. These places are such places where the factor of production, or we can say the cost of factors of production, is low in comparison to their own country or other markets. The next objective is related to utilization of market. If the domestic market is fully utilized, then the companies move towards international market for exploring new avenues. If the company is operating in international market, it improves its image in domestic market also. The domestic consumers consider it as an important company and their products are considered as branded products. Sometimes companies are required to have control over the raw materials in international market. For this purpose, they have to establish the units in international market, and this may become one of the objective behind operating in international market. In some of the countries, foreign companies are allowed to invest only on the condition that some of their production units should be exported from the home country. Sometimes these countries also provide incentives like duty free exports or duty exemption benefits or incentives to be given such investors who are establishing their units in home country, and they are provided benefits in terms of uh, relief in duties to be paid on export of goods and import of raw materials. The other objective of moving towards international market is that it's found that the profit making is more than 100% if the company is operating in international market. The another one of the important objective because of which companies are moving towards international market or offshore market is that globalization. Globalization has given way to number of foreign countries investing in domestic countries, and because of this, domestic companies are facing fierce competition with international companies operating in home country. To cope up with such fierce competition, domestic companies have to move towards international market. The other objective of being international is that some of the countries have very much control over the raw materials and important raw materials, and thus they have a monopoly power in home country as well as in foreign market. So they enjoy monopoly both at domestic market and in international market. And the last objective which we are going to discuss over here is that at the inception, at the time of inception of company, the some of the companies have their vision that in future they are going to internationalize, and because of such reason, when they are in a position, they decide to move in international market. Dear students, now we are moving to the next section, which is about the various kinds of decisions taken by the management of companies which are about to operate in international market. Now, from the previous discussions, we can say that international marketing is a very complex process, and the decisions to be taken for international marketings are also very much complex. The reason behind such complexity is that although the marketing concepts are universal, but the approach to be used in different foreign countries for selling and marketing their products is different, and the marketing environment of different countries is also different. So the approach which is to be required, the marketing mix which is to be required at different foreign countries is a very difficult task to be considered by the. Now, one by one, we will see what are the important business related decisions which are to be taken by companies deciding to operate in international market. The first and foremost decision which is to be taken by the company is whether to go for international market or not. For deciding this factor, they have to consider their present resources means the resources which the company is presently having. And the next thing which they have to consider is company objectives. What are the objectives of company, and by internationalizing, whether they are going to achieve those objectives or not. This decision is also concerned with evaluating the opportunities both at domestic market and international market. These opportunities should be compared by the company. The next decision area is related to market selection. Uh, there are number of foreign markets, but they have to select the best suited market for their products and services. For this, all the prospective markets should be analyzed for their positive points, and after the full analysis, they have to select the market for their products and Once the market is selected, next decision which is taken by the company is the mode of entry. What will be or what should be the mode of entry? One of the important decision. There are number of modes of entry in international market. These can be by export of products and services, or by establishing subsidiaries in the foreign market, or by subcontracting with foreign parties for marketing of products and services. And there can be other ways like joint ventures, having joint ventures with foreign companies and operating jointly in the foreign market. The next important decision area is marketing mix related decisions. As we have seen earlier that the as we have seen earlier that in international marketing, companies try to extend the marketing mix which was successful in domestic market. So this decision should be taken very carefully by the company, because they may have to make changes. They may have to make changes because the company has to deal with number of uncontrollable factors in foreign countries. And marketing mix decision or marketing mix is influenced by these uncontrollable factors. As you are in sixth semester, you must be knowing about the marketing mix. Marketing mix is comprised of product, price, place, and promotion. The next important business decision is related to international organization decision, which means whether to establish international organization or not. Whether to establish international organization or not. And if the answer is yes, then they have to decide about the international organization structure. And organization structure is about setting of hierarchy, and this may consider different branches, different departments, and different positions in these departments. Once it's decided, then they have to decide about the nature of business, size of business, and the future expansion and marketing plans. Now, dear students, we are moving to the last section for this present video lecture, and this particular topic is related to the difference between international marketing and domestic marketing. And one by one, we will we are going to point out the differences between international marketing and domestic marketing. The first major difference between international marketing and domestic marketing is about the use of approach in domestic market and international market. Although the marketing principles are universal or common, there is difference in change of approach in domestic market and international market. As the area is broadened, the second difference between domestic marketing and international marketing is that the strategies which are used in domestic market is not going to work in international market. So to be operating in international market, companies have to change their marketing. The third major difference between domestic marketing and international marketing is related to the cultural differences, the differences in beliefs and set of values. And because of this, uh, companies have to work on different advertisement and sales promotion strategies, because what is working at one country may not be working at other country, which is having which is having consumers belonging to different cultures and having different set of values and beliefs. The fourth important difference between domestic market and international market is that the customers at these markets vary. vary in terms of their set of values, cultures, and set of beliefs, and thus the segmentation process for both the domestic market and international market is different. So, the marketing practices for segmentation of domestic market and international market also changes. The next difference is related to the marketing mix, which has been already discussed previously, and sometimes company has to make minor changes in the marketing mix. And as we know, marketing mix comprises of product, price, place, and promotion. As the companies are operating in international market, which is a totally new market with new customers, so there may be a little bit difference in the marketing mix of companies when they are operating in domestic market as well as in international market. The last difference is related to the marketing plan. A company has to chalk out the marketing plan for international market, and what what was working in domestic market is not really going to work in international market. So they have to very carefully chalk out and plan the market plan for all the marketing activities to be taking place in international market. Dear students, this was the last section for this video, and I hope that you this will be fruitful for you, and you are going to learn few things about your particular subject. And I have tried to revise the portions which were already covered in the classroom, so that those who were not present can also get advantage from it. I hope that this is going to be very helpful for you, and uh, in the next lecture we will cover the topics which are the part of your syllabus, and uh, hopefully we will be able to complete all the sections one by one in the upcoming lectures. Thank you and have a good day.